From the roots where the earth still speaks, to the fire where they always breathe. Hands of wisdom, time can't erase. Every drop got a story to say. Slow it down, feel the rhythm inside. This ain't rush, this is sacred design. From the soil to the soul to the light, what you hold is a gift of life. Feel it in your soul, give it, let the story unfold. Ancestral power in every drop. This that legacy, this don't stop. Rooted deep in you, give it, yes, pure and true. Not something you drink, you receive. This that energy you believe. Hey, hey. Ooh, Luwadi. Hey. Oh, Luwadi. Give it. This is where your elders hit and drums sing perfectly.
Greetings, 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 one and all. It's your brother King Simon back again for another episode of King Simon Presents Only Quality People. I hope everybody is feeling good outside because I feel good. I feel good all over. I'm feeling good outside in these streets. I hope y'all are feeling good also today, man. Big up to everybody that's enjoying their day. It's a beautiful day out here in New York City. It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I love to have a neighbor just like you. As long as you don't get on my nerves, we could be cool too. Beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Could you be mine? Would you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Hello, boys and girls. I hope everybody is fine today. I hope all of you are doing well, man. I'm having a great time in life. Although we go through our ups and downs, I did a great show today and how important it is to meditate and get your meditation on. Ain't nothing wrong with doing that. And meditate from your heart, your soul, and do what we have to do to keep our mind right in this day and time, you know? And so, I love what many people are starting to do. I'm loving that some of the younger people are starting to pick up on that too. I love that younger people are picking up on mental health therapy. I prefer hypnosis therapy. That has been very helpful. And if you're thinking about it, it is, it's very important that you recognize what you're doing and how you're doing things on a certain level, and be willing to do what you have to do. Just want to remind each and every one of you that the today's show, we have Hanshi Lewis coming on at approximately 7 o'clock. So we got like 8 or 7 minutes before we bring him up. Want to remind everybody also that the next interview coming up will be this mother and daughter team will be with us. This mother and daughter team is going to be huge. So make sure you support and come on out. This is the last of the Women's History Month celebration on my channel. Until next time. But of course, I always interview different people anyway. So this is Daisy and Dolores Peters will be on with me live and direct. So make sure you're with us on Sunday. And speaking about mother and daughter, read this flyer carefully, family, to yourself. And if you are going through mother and daughter issues of any kind, please try this 12-week course, because there have been mothers that tried to kill their own daughters, and there have been daughters that tried to kill their own mothers. So there is a healing that needs to be done. And that is very important for us to recognize that, So take the time out if you can. Check out the website if you want to be a part of it. It's a 12-week healing course, My Mother, My Mirror And it's starting with ladies only on April the 4th at 4:44 a.m. Central Time. So if you're interested, it does take discipline, and those fours represents discipline, order, structure, being willing to discipline yourself to get up that early, no matter what time you're in. And you could also text the word mirror to 615-812-6342. That's 615-812-6342. All right. So, just to help out these sisters and that are going through it with their moms or have gone through it with their moms. Also, do me a favor, please if you care, please subscribe, and share with those that are on the spiritual journey. This is very important to myself. Of course, this is not an exciting platform, so to speak. It's exciting because whatever I'm doing, I'm trying to bring quality people of interest or in the community that might not be big names. And a lot of people like to show up for big names. I know y'all show up for the Phil Valentines, y'all show up for the Queen of Fool, y'all show up for different people. But before a Phil Valentine became a Phil Valentine, he opened up for Delbert Blair. Before Delbert Blair became who he is, he opened up for somebody. Before Brother Planet became who he is, he opened up. Bobby Hemmett, all of them, Queen of Four. Everybody had their opening journey. So you got to respect these young people that are coming up, middle-aged people that are coming up, vintage people that might decide finally to come out and do what they're supposed to do, to speak their knowledge and their truth. Also, remember, we are having the fundraiser for Nicholas Brooklyn, 52-year legacy, celebrating 52 years on April the 18th. Only $25 all day from 12 to 9 p.m. Young people are free from 0 to 17 years of age. Nicholas is located at 1396 Fulton Street in Brooklyn. Brooklyn in the house. That's right, in Brooklyn. And if you want to find out information about the limited vending space, because most of the speakers will be vending, call the number at 718-858-4400, or you could text me at 347-496-1022. Pull up, show love, and be in the building. We're going to have guest performers hosted by myself, Mashari, and Joshua Sarah, and Kafunya Ife will be providing some great thing. Big up to my cousin Nakeba. She just finished celebrating her birthday recently, and I'm trying to get her on probably in another couple of weeks for her new music that she's coming out. Big up to her husband, Eddie. And let's see what else I got to put on the screen before we move. Next thing that I'm going to put on the screen is those who want to advertise with me, please don't be afraid. DM me at King Simon Presents or text at 347-496-1022. Faster, all you have to do is text me if you want to advertise on my King Simon Presents YouTube community, also my King Simon Presents Instagram stories, my King Simon Presents threads, and also on my Facebook at King Simon. All right, so if you want to be a part of the growing platform, King Simon, I grow organically with quality people that support. Also, make sure you join my membership to be able to listen to my first ever audiobook on numerovation for mental stability, a numerovational guide to recognizing mental instability in our community, but just for yourself as far as the numbers. And you can get all my books on Amazon. You know how we deal with that. Get all my books on Amazon. I'm waiting for my guest to come up. It's like one more minute before he comes in. I think he gave me a call. I'm going to have to call him back to see where his head is at. Also, shout out to my son, Green Studio NYC, and his whole team over there. Make sure you book a session with him if you're a performer, artist, whatever. Also, he does open mic sessions throughout New York City. So if you want to be a part of that open mic movement, you can contact him at any of those numbers right there. And again, big up to nicholasbrooklyn.com, nicholasbrooklyn.com. If you want to go to the GoFundMe, check that out. Lloyd Strayhorn, shout out to him all the time. And if you're into martial arts, on April the 4th, that's why I'm bringing on Hanshi Lewis. April the 4th, he's doing a great event in Brooklyn on Bedford Avenue over there at Bedford and Putnam. And in May, we are doing with Professor Bill, the Elders of Sanukas. Boom, there it is. May 2nd And May 1st and May 2nd, we're doing it. Call the number there, 718-210-3190. And if you can make it to either one or both of them, it's two different venues. So go to studymartialarts.com, and that will be, important. And that's very important that you try to make it, if you can make it, to see all the elders if you can, and indulge. Also, big up to Denise Muhammad doing her thing to help our people to deal with life insurance, auto insurance, ID theft, credit repair, all that's on that flyer. Just text the word change to 713-481-1624. That's Denise Muhammad doing her great things in her community and throughout the world. And of course, we got to bring up my brother, Radiohead Rich, Radio Cigars. If you are into smoking cigar or just using cigars as a smudging mechanism, contact Radio Rich at that email right there at richinmerit@yahoo. I have some. I don't smoke cigars. I tried a few puff and pass it to my ancestors. So I puffed it out just to make sure I got the smoke out, and then I just smudged the house and all that kind of stuff. Very good, very good. It's very smooth. And if you're into martial arts and you're in the Long Beach area, this is what's happening in Long Beach on June the 27th. As long as the TSA is not messing up the place, I will be there. I don't feel like taking a train or bus. I have done that before, but I don't feel like doing it again. And that's going to be with my dear sister, Professor Zahalia Anderson. And of course, respect to Lloyd Strayhorn all the time. Waiting for our guests to come up. And in between time, let me shout out some of the people in the chat. If you are in the chat, gratitudes. Okay, I see my guest came up behind the scene. I'm getting ready to bring him on. Let him take his time to fix himself up. All is good. And again, family, there's a lot going on. Please like, subscribe, and share if you care. If you don't care, it's all right. There's no love lost, because some people don't care about martial arts or learning anything in significance as far as discipline is concerned. And I understand. It's all right. It's all right. But know that your body requires discipline for you to maintain it. Your heart, your circulation system, your reproduction system, all of them requires a discipline. And if you go against the discipline and the laws, guess what? You will destroy those particular organs in your body. And that's just the truth. Yes, Master Hanshi, just turn your phone to the side so we can get the big screen. That's good. Yes, that makes sense right there. I'll bring you on in a few seconds. Just want to make sure I see you backstage. And again, family, remember, we got the fundraiser coming up for a powerful community fundraiser for Nicholas Brooklyn over there at Restoration Project. I am the host with alongside, like I said, Mashari and Joshua Sarah. And again, if you want to get any of my books, go to amazon.com and put in the word King, the two names, King Simon. Not Simon King. There is a European guy called Simon King, but my name is King Simon, okay? Or you can go directly to my Linktree/King Simon, the Numerovator. So the next person that I'm about to bring up is not a stranger to my channel, so I don't need to do anything long for this brother, because this brother is a good brother overall. He's one of my teachers, one of my touch and go teachers. Touch it, he throw your ass and go. Simple as that. That's how it works. His teacher was like that too, Master Duncan. He touched me and you go. My teachers in Sanukas, touch and you go, period. So I'm happy to have him back on to talk about this great event that we got coming up. I'll be covering it on this YouTube channel. So just to, I did my first time covering an event like On the Mat used to do, was at DOS Con 6, and I was happy, thanks to Nathan, Grandmaster Nathan, for allowing me to come in. He wants me there for next year. That's how much he loved it, and how professional I was handling and asking questions. So he's going to be chiming in and being a part of this great thing happening on April the 4th at Akbar Hall at 1174 Bedford Avenue from 1 to 5 p.m. in Brooklyn. Those who know, remember that I brought Dick Gregory to that hall. I brought Kaba Kamene from Hidden Colors to that hall. I brought Delbert Blair to that hall. So I brought numerous people back in the day to that hall. So without any further ado, I want to bring on for you, no stranger to my channel. He's not only a brother, a teacher, and a friend. He is Hanshi khaleeq Lewis. And let's get that applause button going on before I bring him on right here and now. Here we go. My dear brother, how are you, brother?
All praises due to Allah.
All
Well,
praise
thank you.
to Allah.
How are you? So I'm having some issues with seeing
Okay,
you
can you
there.
see me now?
I can see you fine. Yes, sir. I don't.
There it is. That's
Yeah.
all it is. It's just that. It's just
Okay.
that.
All right. Yes,
Just had
sir.
to take off those banners, my brother. We cool.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Mubarak, brother. How was your
Wa
Ramadan?
wa alaikum salam and Eid Mubarak. Ramadan was wonderful. Thank
Yes,
God.
Eid Mubarak.
We had another successful year of
Yes,
fasting and praying and
yes.
consecration and regrouping. Right.
It did help. Yes, it did help me a lot. And and I really enjoyed what the energy that I was getting, the dreams that I was also getting also, in this whole thing. And I want to let everybody know his number is right here, just in case you want to contact for details, the 646-624-1897. Also his email if you want to contact, and the source website is also pinned to the top of the chat to get to the website that he has about the whole thing, from his martial arts and all that's going on, and the event that's coming up. And also, as you can see, if you look at this flyer, family, you could also scan the QR codes that's on top of this flyer right here. You can scan the QR code right there, and Venmo and Cash App. It's $100 advance tickets, 130 for the at the door, and spectators pay $25. Are you having vendors, my brother?
Yes, I am. I'm having vendors.
Yes,
I know that there are quite a few people who asked me about vending, and
of
so
course.
yes, we will definitely have vendors. Different, I know Soki Hassan has a table,
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna be there right with y'all.
yeah. Come on through. Yes, sir. And we're gonna have and anybody else on this channel who wants to vend, please give me a call in advance so we can try to accommodate you as best we can.
Yes, and brother, thank you very much for coming back on my show. The last time we did my show was very well. People love the clips that I put up. Very, they call you the supermodel of martial arts.
Oh, all praise to God.
You and Hassan, so okay, Hassan used to be the supermodel too.
Yeah. He still is. He he's my senior. So
Yes,
but
sir.
yeah, he's still that man, the smoothest one in there.
Yo,
That's right.
back in the day when he comes in, it's just GQ.
Absolutely, clean,
Like,
clean in and out.
you and him have a theme song.
Yeah, he calls me his namesake.
Both of y'all, brother. I
Yes, sir.
know. So, brother, let's go back into time a little, because you've been studying for quite some time, and it's not it wasn't a joke to you, nor because you was under a single mother at that time. Because I remember you talking about your single mother, and rest her soul. She passed on, right? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
rest her soul. How your father still alive, or he passed?
No. Actually, both my parents are deceased. My father,
Mhm.
he returned to the essence in 1995. In fact, we buried him the day of the
Wow.
Million Man March. That's
Oh,
correct.
wow. Did
So
you?
I wasn't, sir.
So you didn't get to make it to the Million Man March?
No. I wasn't in
Okay.
attendance. I was there only in spirit. I did watch it with my family.
Okay.
But we were not there.
Well, what were parents like in regards to promoting manhood and developing, getting you into martial arts? Did your mother or your father influence you into this also?
Well, actually, no, it was my aunt Vanessa.
Oh, really?
Um,
Your aunt, big up to your aunt.
yeah, my aunt
Auntie.
Vanessa. Yeah, auntie, she was a rough one. I grew up in the South Bronx,
Okay.
and right down the street from the mosque, the former, I think that was 7B.
Oh, you
That
wait a minute, at Parkside?
no. I was in the Bronx. I was on 162nd, between 162nd, 163rd Street and Prospect, and the mosque was upstairs from a bank
Okay,
on Prospect
okay,
Avenue. Yeah.
okay,
So, but
okay,
but
okay,
yeah.
got
So
it.
so I was not far from the Bronx Shotokan Club in
Right.
those days,
Mhm.
and my aunt, she didn't want me growing up weak.
Right.
So when I got into a little altercation with some of the guys in the block there, I must have been about 6 or 7, and I was a boy, man. But I ran in there crying, and my grandmother said, "What's wrong with you?" And my aunt said, "No, we not doing this. We're gonna go right back outside and find out who was fighting with you." And
Exactly.
so I went down there with my aunt, and I was terrified of her, terrified. She said, "Well, you're going to show me the boys that was picking on you,
Right.
and you're going to fight them, or you're going to come back and fight me." And I said, "Well, there you go."
Wow. 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 Wow.
So we got into I fought them. It was about 3 of them, and it was unfun, but I did what I had to do. And next thing I know was I was taken down to karate school down on 163rd. I'm sorry. That was on 149th Street. That was a Huff Fraser school, but my mother couldn't afford it. And then a little later on, I met a man by the name of Maurice Joseph. Maurice Joseph took me under his wing, and he was a student of his brother, who trained under Lindo Granaville, which was Goju Karate.
So that was your first introduction into the martial arts.
Yes, that was my introduction. My aunt took me down.
Were you watching any movies back in the day? Like I did. I watched movies before. I was watching all them karate flicks from back in the day.
Oh man, let me tell you, you know better, just as good as well as I do, that the kung fu movies at that time was something else. My aunt also took me to see Enter the Dragon. I was never the same.
Yeah, never the same.
Yeah. You couldn't tell me I wasn't, Bruce Lee, right? So Kato was my favorite fighter at the time, and when we would go to the matinees, you would see those little clips in the beginning, and they had Batman and Robin versus Kato and the Green Hornet.
Yes,
right. It was supposed to be Green Hornet and Kato, but you couldn't tell us in the neighborhood that it wasn't the Kato show.
we was rooting for Kato and
that's right. That's right. We said it was fake when we saw Robin, tie with Kato. That was, come on, man. Kato couldn't do that with that. Man.
No, that was crazy. So, but Bruce Lee just looked so sleek and nice. And,
absolutely.
And he looked like something we would dress in anyway. He
looked like us. He wasn't Asian. He was a brother.
Exactly. And
he was brother with slanted eyes and straight hair.
And because he studied boxers, you could see his movement we could tell that was one of us.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, think about it. His charisma.
Yes.
And his energy that he brought to the big screen really helped all of us, right?
Yes.
And I think one of the things that I got from the influence of Bruce Lee, because I know a lot of my later influences, like Grandmaster Duncan and of course Soke Ali Abdul Kareem, many of the other gentlemen that you just mentioned, Soke Hassan, of course, Dr. Abdul Aziz, formerly Anthony Muhammad. When you see Moses Powell, these men were men of great prowess. But your early introduction was what you saw on television.
That's right.
And one of the things that I got from Bruce Lee and now the late Chuck Norris was exercising, right? Is how to get to heaven, right? Because everybody want to be the superstar, but how do you get there?
How to get there, right?
Yeah, how do you get there? And that was exercising. And so one of the things that I got from some of those films is not just kicking and punching, but the glory was the exercise, the jump rope, the running, right? The weights and all of those things, the resistance training, and of course sparring, right? Stretching, all of that, right? So you need to get all of those things. So when we understand conditioning, right? Conditioning was one of the things that a lot of us, I think, didn't realize that was the key.
Yeah.
To training. We had very little information that was really, really afforded to us in terms of what we have now. I mean, you can see behind me, I have a library of books that I can study on different subjects. So from karate, ancient samurai, the ninja, all of those types of things like that. But when the days that I was coming up, and like many of us, we were studying what we saw in terms of kung fu.
Right.
I think when I have to say this part, when I got introduced to ninjutsu in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, that was really when a lot of things changed for me, particularly because I started looking at the systems of martial art and history of the films that we enjoyed so much, right? Fist of the White Lotus, and
Yes, yes,
Kung Fu, and
right.
versus Ninja, and of course the film Kung Fu. With
Yes,
David Carradine, the late
yes,
Carradine.
sir. Yes,
Yeah, it
sir.
was one of those things. You were home watching all of those films, and of course the I think the Saturday afternoon Kung Fu,
Kung Fu.
where there was not a black boy in the street. We were all in we was all in the house watching those double features, right, of
Yes,
Kung
sir.
Fu
Yes, sir.
from
Yes, sir.
3 to 5, right? After 5 o'clock, you came out if you had in the summertime. If you
We
had
all
done,
doing it now. We fighting. We getting it in. We want to jump up like Bruce Lee, and
that's
we
right.
want to
Yeah,
crack out. We want to crack our bones like Bruce and crack, crack, crack.
yeah, doing all of that,
All of
and
that,
stuff.
doing all of that. And
Yeah,
and those were some great days because I don't see, unless you go around a school, you don't see children outside in the block like we used to be. Even I went around my old neighbor downtown over there in Carlton and Fulton, and they're renovating, yes, but I don't. We used to play stickball right there. We used to train and do slap boxing and do 52s. We used to learn 52s. Some guy come out of jail and
yeah,
say, "Yo, you don't
yeah.
know jailhouse," and they used to show us all kinds of stuff. We used to be going in, and of course, kicking and fighting and jumping off of swings and all that. I don't see that, and I want you to go into why training in the martial arts nowadays is a form of their type of so-called recreation. It's they need to train and have some fun and enjoy whatever they get into. Although martial arts is very serious as they get older, but when you're training young people, in order for you to keep them, you have to make sure they're enjoying themselves.
Well,
You know,
that's a good question and a good point that you bring up, right? I
yes,
know that physical activity
right,
for us as young people. I remember my grandmother would wake me up early on Saturday, and she would say, "Boy, you can't lay around in the house. Get up, clean up, and then go outside, get
that's
some
right,
sun." And
that's right.
so, what was the recreation, right? We didn't
Mm,
want to get in trouble. So, once we did our homework and whatever the case may be, we got some sun. Then,
right.
yeah, those running and hopscotch and all of the things that you did with
Right.
uh, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
training
yeah.
outside. So
Coco Livio, running,
yeah, all of that stuff,
all
right?
that stuff, jumping jack,
Red light,
all that.
green light, and all that.
Red light, green light. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Skelly.
So
We playing Skelly.
yeah, Scully, right. So, but Skelly, that's right. So one of the things with my students, especially the children, is I encourage them to enjoy whatever you're doing, and I
Right.
say this to the young people, and any teachers and anybody who's watching here now, is make it fun for them.
Yes.
Right, because discipline is something that's going to come automatic,
Right.
right? Especially if you're not doing the right thing.
Right.
But if you're enjoying what you're doing, you're going to grow,
Yes.
right? And one of the things I remember years ago, one of Soke Ali Abdul Kareem's early students,
Rest in peace.
yeah,
Okay.
that's the piece, yeah, um, Grandmaster Mustafa out
Mustafa.
of New Jersey. He
Mhm.
shared something with me, and I really, really appreciated this. Um, he probably doesn't know if he's watching now. I really appreciate this lesson, Brother Mustafa. When you said, the child should see the teacher the first in and the last out. He
Mm.
should see him with a smile, greet it with a smile, and
Right.
ending that with a smile. Shake a
Mm.
hand and make a friend, because
Yeah.
when you make a friend with a child, you make a friend for life.
For life.
And so one of the things that I always try to do is try to not not be so aggressive with my young students. I teach them enjoyment of it,
Yeah.
right? Because I know when I was coming up, it wasn't like that. You did push-ups as a yeah, you did push-ups as a means of punishment. But I enjoy it because I get a nice pump. Right? It helps get the body right? Get your planks and stuff. So what we didn't enjoy was our fist on
On the
the bare
knuckles.
concrete.
Yeah,
On
concrete.
yeah, you in a push-up position like that, but you don't want push-ups to be the punishment. So yeah.
It was so funny when you said that. And big up to everybody that's tuning in and coming in. Abundance Child from out of on the V-Jitsu out there in Delaware. Big up to her. She's in the building. A few other people in the building. Dear friend of mine who have a restaurant, Abundance Child. Khaleeq Lewis is Hanshi Lewis is in the building with us. Make sure you call him if you want to find out details about this great martial arts seminar that's happened. And it's not something new that he's done. He's been doing it years, then he brought it back. So this is a beautiful thing. Email him if you can. Hit the website. Also, you can also hit the website that's pinned to the top of the chat. So you can go directly to that link and it'll go right there if you want to find out more about his school and everything else. You know, brother, what is so interesting about that? I was watching Matt Hoffa, the show and Juggernaut came on and his knuckles is all bruised up and looking like Nathan Ingram.
Grandmaster Ingram's knuckles they're bigger than my forehead, man.
Yeah. So he said, they asked him, Matt Hoffa asked, how did you get your knuckles like that? He said, so he went straight to knuckle push-ups. Then he went to wrist push-ups.
Yeah, wrist push-ups.
Finger. So I said, this is what we used to do since we was young.
That's right. That's right.
Knuckle, wrist, and then sometimes jump onto the fingers or fingers, knuckle, wrist. That's what
we were also taught fingerprints. No, fingertips, not fingerprints, right?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, conditioning is a very important part. Now, of course, it depends on styles, right? Because every style is different. You don't see in the Ido that they got their knuckles like that. You don't see in a lot of schools. So, but I do believe that when you're fighting, especially when you're getting into sparring and things like that, you have to condition your hands. I know Floyd Mayweather, who was one of the greatest, the GOAT, right, of his time and his era. He had multiple operations on his hand. He was, a lot of people think about that. Just brief synopsis, not to make it about him, but when you're striking, you're punching, and you're getting into fighting, and if you don't condition your hands, you don't condition your body, you can hurt yourself. So. And he was known as a knockout artist early in his career.
Right.
So you have to be sagacious in your training, because training is for life, right? And so those things that we're talking about now in terms of knuckle push-ups, finger push-ups, right, wrist push-ups, I remember doing them. I'll be 58 in May. And all praises due to
Allah.
And I my body is still talking to me. It's like, yo, man, you ain't 28, you ain't 18, you're not even 38, 58. So, but I still work out, right? I still exercise, I still train, outside of the dojo. I don't run as much because I have a little bit of an issue with my back, but I do get on the treadmill. I do walk, and I make sure that I'm always active. If you ask any of my students, ask any of my peers, and of course my instructors, sometimes they'll call me right in the middle of a workout, and I'm working out while I'm talking. Heck, you called me many times, and So I've done push-up challenges and things like that. So I encourage everybody to train, right, to exercise, work out, get the three parts. You got resistance training, right? You got reflexology, and of course you have cardio. And and get proper diet. Your diet is very important.
Very important. Family. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this video. Again, we're promoting, and of course, we have on my special guest Hanshi Khaleeq Lewis in the building. And please, again, we're going to be having this great a day with the masters, and of course, a hall of greatness. The legacy continues, and it's all happening at the Akbar Hall over there at 1174 Bedford Avenue from 1 to 5 p.m. Tickets are on sale right now. Advance tickets $100. At the door is $130, and spectators, if you just come in to chill and watch, is only $25. You can't miss it. You could scan the QR code right there, Venmo or Cash App. But if you want to call him to find out if you want to vend, and you might have a drinking product, good drink products or water products, or whatever you got that's reputable and good for people that train themselves, T-shirts, you can have those type of things. As long as you're coming with respectful products to this venue. It is also connected to a Muslim mosque, so we want to be respectful. There's no smoking and drinking and none of that stuff.
No, don't come with none of that.
Don't come with none of that drama there. Although there's some people that's back in the arts used to do a lot of that. We got that. We understand. And there's no, there's no complete. People got to realize that everybody's not an angel in the arts, but the discipline and the respect we give to many of our teachers in the arts who went down that road, who may fell, we still show them respect because they proved themselves over years. So I want you to share, what does the name Hanshi means? And because you was Kiyoshi before,
Yes,
and of course you've been sensei, you've been all that. What does all those different levels from sensei up? Let's talk about it. Let's go there.
Well, we can talk about titles. So the greatest of all titles, as we were always taught, is brother.
Brother and sister, right?
Brother and sister, right?
Yeah. Right.
Because we're that first,
right.
Before anything else. In the martial arts, sensei is the title that transcends all of the titles. Let's start there.
Yes.
But when you come into levels of those things, you have a seniors, right? So as you grow, most titles, most people don't know, are written titles, right? So when we're talking about introducing people, once you get from your sandan or your 3rd degree black belt, usually that's a sensei title, 2nd and 3rd dans. When you get to your 4th, 5th, those are like runshi. When you get to your 6th, 7, those are shihan, kiyoshi titles. 8th, 9th, those are reserved for hanshi, and of course, 9th and 10th, grandmaster hanshi as well. So it just means a senior master. That's pretty much what it means. Kiyoshi is a professor,
right?
Or a master of that craft as well. And so I was blessed by my current teacher, Soke Jamie Ellaby, to have been given my own system called Tenjin Ryu Buge, which means the Divine School of Warrior Arts. And so when he gave me that, my degree, along with my title, Hanshi, it just means a senior master.
Okay.
And there's only one.
Okay. Okay. Now, what is the process of becoming a soke?
Oh, soke. So so you have to produce 5 masters under yourself. The peers of your your seniors, they give you a set of rules, tests, things like that. And you inherit your system as soke, right? So I had to go through a series of tests, and written tests. They weren't just physical. Physical is one thing, but the understanding of what you're doing, right? So that's what you, just like in school, you have a doctorate's degree, right? So I had to go through all of those things. I had to do a written scroll, if you will, of all of the parent arts that I've studied, as well as those things that I've extrapolated, and the forms and the different things that I had to do, and then get the consent from the community.
Like a thesis.
Like a thesis, correct.
Okay. I just wanted to pull that out because one thing I loved about Master Duncan, old Sensei Master Duncan, the senior, may he rest in eternal peace, my brother. He always gave the history of weapons, the history of when it came. Even the last lecture that I did in Brooklyn, that you did a demonstration for.
Oh yes. I
remember. He remember when people was asking him the question, he given the history.
The history.
Simon, I don't doubt that this was this and that was that, but you know how deep and penetrable his voice was.
Yes.
And then the next few years, I think he had passed on, and then but how important and to the young artists and young people that's getting into any type of martial arts, because even boxing is a form of martial arts. How important is it to know the history?
Oh, it's extremely important, right? It's like anything that you want, that you're connected to, you should know the beginning, your current status, and where you're going, right? And so being connected to that history is very, very, very important. Knowing your founders, right? And knowing who those people who are that you were influenced by. And so Master Duncan had a great many of influencers, as teachers, and we had to know their history as well as his. And so I was um, one that loved to study. He was a voracious reader, and he taught us the same process. And you usually take on the spirit and character of your teacher. And
Right.
so I was able to tap into those things that he wanted me to tap into. He really, encouraged us to read a lot, and not just one thing. Know your history from Africa,
Yeah.
India,
Yeah.
China,
Yeah.
Japan, into the Americas, and
Yeah.
how those things came about, and what it is that you have today, and why you're studying what you're studying to keep that mastery going. Some people choose, and those of us who are chosen, I believe that it's innate in us to continue. It's something that's in our spirit that you can't you can't do anything else. It's like a person who's a banker. They're made to do that, right? So I was made to do this.
And that why that's so important, because I think a lot of young people nowadays don't realize how important knowing your history of the past and what's happening in the present and where you're going in the future. And a lot of people are depending on AI they putting all kind of things on AI, with Bruce Lee fighting Muhammad Ali, or Bruce Lee fighting Tony Jaa. And I'm like, okay, all right, I got it. I see what you're doing.
Right.
But why not go to the origins of the history of the different things that Bruce Lee did, or when Jim Kelly came out, Master Jim Kelly came out with the big afro, all of us was like, whoa, wait a minute. Then he did it with style. Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh. He wasn't just screaming. He did it. It made it sound like we was in the club.
He brought character and style to what he had, right? But
Yes.
it made us all a part of those things. What was that? Ooh, that ooh was the ki, right?
Exactly.
That was the energy. That was what they call in Japanese kime. That's the buildup of that energy and the release of that energy, right? Just like an atomic bomb. So an atomic bomb, when it hits, it's energy. And so it hits, boom, but the energy is the blast from that is what is destructive, that explosive thing.
Yes.
So that's what he was displaying.
Yes, it was beautiful.
It sounded strange to the ear. Ooh. Right? Oh, what the
I think we
Bruce Lee
caught
thing.
it faster. The melanated people caught it faster because we understood.
Yes.
Like Master Ron Van Cleef, back
Mhm.
in the day, what he used to do and his contribution to the martial arts through film and all of that. And I remember seeing Master Duncan, Sensei Master Duncan, catching arrows at the world, at the commercials, in the commercials.
Yes.
The sports, I think, is the world sports. I forgot what the name of it.
He did. There was a few things that he did. He did that for thrill seekers, right?
Yes,
then they, when they put it on the worldwide sports, sports, right? So
I was young. I was like, whoa.
It's funny when I first met Sensei in 1997. I was with Soke Ali Abdul Kareem. He took us, may God be pleased with him. He took us to an event in Queens, and it was at Grandmaster Felix Vasquez's school. And Woodhaven, the Woodhaven Martial Arts School.
Yeah, Woodhaven,
right. And so Grandmaster Felix wasn't on the floor that day. I believe one of his top students was hosting in his stead. He came a little bit later, but he didn't train. I think he was busy with work. But we all, did it. But I bought my very first video. I still have it with the certificate of authenticity from the thrill seekers, with him catching the arrows.
Wow.
And things. And it's funny because when we were training at his home, he said, "I'll teach you anything you want to learn."
Right.
And I said, "Sensei, I would like to learn how to catch the arrows." He said, "You would?" I said, "Yes, sir." And he says, "Okay." He says, "It's a little involved, a little dangerous." I said, "That's what we pay for."
A little involved and a little dangerous. Why you here?
Right. But there was nothing that he wouldn't share.
Yes.
with you if you asked
Right.
him.
That's right.
He prepared you, and he prepared you internally, mentally, and spiritually for the things that you were going to face, right?
Right.
And this is one of the things about the martial arts, is that we have to always remember that you may not ever hit anybody in the street. God
Right.
forbid that you have to do this, in real time. But
Right.
if you have to do it in real time, you're able to face any opposition, right? Martial arts is for life, and it's for some of the things that will give you confidence, right?
Right.
I teach this to the children. I teach this to the teenagers. I teach this to the adults, even older people. Myself, I come in right now. I returned to the mosque recently,
Right.
late last year,
Right.
and I have a lot of the seniors that came to me, and some of them felt very insecure because they felt like they couldn't do certain things anymore.
Right.
But martial arts helps you gain confidence in your own self again, right?
Right.
It's how we think. It's what we do with what our time and our energy and our bodies to help us to continue on with life. Life
Yeah.
is, life is for a fleeting moment, but what we do with our time is very important, I believe. And
Right.
so training and exercise is also a way to keep the heart, kidneys, all the internal organs um, um, together. So there are breathing exercises. There's other things that you have to do that you can do rather
Right.
than just busting your fist up against something and being all the hard training. There's yin and yang, right? Or yin and yang, or hard and
Yes.
soft. So all of those things are very, very important. They're just as important as the knuckle push-ups, right? Breathing is just as important. So I have this conversation sometime with one of a great mentor, a friend of me. He's on the flyer, Grandmaster Scott,
Yes.
Maryland, and we
Mhm.
talk about some of the qigong. Another great friend of mine and influencer and mentor to me, Tarif Ghazi. He's not on the flyer for this one, but he was
Right.
back in the day when we did Day with the Masters. I think that was 2008. And
Right.
he has taught me a great deal of qigong and what is important. Why is it important to do qigong,
I was about to
cultivating your
go there
energy?
for the internal art, so please, I want to go there. Yeah, please.
Yes,
Let's go.
yes.
Let's go.
So not just getting the sun. The
Right.
time of day mean the time of day means a whole lot,
A
right?
lot.
So training in the midnight hours, right?
Yeah.
Getting when it's a quiet, still time,
Mm.
going out and staying, getting that sun, getting that vitamin D,
Right.
excuse me, and getting that other energy, right? So a lot of masters they've taken Tai Chi, right, as something that is not a martial art anymore, but
Right.
something that is just for healing martial. But actually, Tai Chi was actually for martial art. It was actually what the military used in China.
Hmm.
But they've slowed it down, and they found that there was healing properties in it. So I learned to respect all of the arts. I'm
Yes.
I'm a Japanese martial arts practitioner, but I
Mhm.
respect some of the Chinese alternative medicines, as
Of course.
well as exercise through those veins and those venues to help the body. So because everything should be joint friendly,
Right.
right? Karate should be joint friendly. Kung fu, it should be joint friendly. Even though you're doing dropping low, if you ever watch uh, a great grandmaster, I call him great grandmaster, Lumumba.
Lumumba, yes, of
Yes,
course.
Hernandez. Yes, and he is a great proponent of Tai Chi.
Yes.
And when I know he teaches Grandmaster Hakeem
Yes.
and some of his students a lot of the Tai Chi, and they travel with him around the parks. And I've spoken to our great brother Warrington Huntley, and
Yes.
he also studied Tai Chi. And in fact, it was him that shared the World Tai Chi Day one day with me.
Yes.
And
Right.
I went down to Prospect Park, and and I saw all of the people down there. Now, that's not the first time I ever saw Tai Chi. The first time I ever saw Tai Chi uh, was I was walking through Chinatown, and
Yes.
I saw the
Yep.
crowds of people. I mean,
In the park there. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
in the park,
Yep. I
and they
remember.
would, and I was a kid. I was like, wow, what's
Yep.
this?
Me too.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and I wanted to know what that was. It was slow movement, things
Yes.
like that. I didn't think that was for fighting.
Right. Right.
Later on, I learned that, but I also know that um, if anything that anybody can do to train, there's no excuses. Is my point. is
Right.
that if you can't get into an art like mine where it's a lot of fast movement, defense, all of those types of things, there's also the healing arts for elderly people, people who are feeling like their body is unable to do certain things. We do have a small um, introduction to qigong in our class, so that people can get those breathing exercises. They're very, very important, right? Just standing, holding a tree, and getting familiar with your internal self is just as important as all of the other uh, things that
Oh,
you're going to be doing.
right. And I'm glad you say that, because even learning the basics of Tai Chi myself, one of my teachers, he said to embrace a tree,
Yes,
get the whole hug, and stand there next to it, and really feel, and close your eyes and feel. And that's what I used to show two of my youngest children about going to a park. Instead of always playing in the sandbox or playing on the swings, let's sit down and listen to nature.
yes, that's
Sit down on a log and listen, because I think that's very important, because many of our children are so inundated with this thing called the phone, and yeah, this thing called the phone, this
yeah,
cell phone.
right.
When back in the day, the phone stayed in the house; it didn't come on the street.
That's right. Yeah, it was attached to a cord on the wall, right?
Exactly. The rotary phone, you had to, if you were dialing
That's
911, you'd be in trouble.
right, right.
Nine
Yeah,
was all the way down there.
yes. Yeah.
So
Now we have these things that we can, we carry with us and all that
right,
other kind of stuff.
yeah,
It's interesting, right? I
uh-huh,
remember just having this conversation just recently about uh, alternative medicine,
right,
and we were talking about how uh, there's herbs,
mhm,
there's different remedies that we've negated from what our parents taught us and to take, because we got a lot of these medicines that are tearing our bodies apart.
yes,
Your natural training, exercising, getting that sun, and taking your intake of food, right, rather than a lot of the packaged stuff. I always try to promote good, healthy eating, living, minimizing how much sugar you take into your body, and
exactly,
flour, right? I know that in Islam, especially in the Nation of Islam, we were taught not to take in too much of the white or the bleached
right,
flour, sugar, too much uh, dairy or things like that were going to hurt our bodies. Overeating of any type of food is
yes,
not good. So you
mhm,
want to make sure that your body. This is one of the reasons why I fell in love with fasting. Right now, it's a thing where you hear this intermittent fasting, but that was
yeah,
something that was taught, to us many years ago throughout faith,
exactly,
right? And so I think that water fasts, fruit fasts, and dieting properly, along with your exercises, is just as important as getting that exercise. And get your diet, and diet is very, very important.
let me acknowledge some people in the chat that's saying assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum, brother, my brother, congratulations, blessing, may you continue to be a shining star. I know you are. That's Angela Williams.
Oh,
Big up to Angela Williams tuning in. And of course, somebody said, "Good day, my brothers and sisters." That's the face, the nation, and of course, America's what, salty? I forgot how they said it. Salty martial arts, I guess. Ultimate martial art, ultimate.
oh,
America's ultimate martial arts
oh.
says, "That's my ninja." That's my ninja right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, that's my ninja back. Yeah.
Family, make sure you support our brother, man. Call him if you want to find out more details about this extraordinary day with the masses. Tell him, when did you start this first? Because I know this is, you're bringing it back. I know you started years ago, but when did you start it first doing it back in the day?
Um, 2020, I mean, sorry, 2004, actually, it
Let's go
became a
back.
brainchild for me.
Right,
Yes.
right.
I remember the first time when I was teaching at the mosque, and we brought in Grandmaster Duncan, and quite a few people had attended. I called it a day with the masters, but I didn't promote it as such. Um,
Mhm.
and I remember when Dr. Powell returned to Allah,
That's it.
and
Right.
we had so many people come through, and I said, you know what, man, I want to give flowers to the masters who are still here,
Yes.
and I said, you know, Sensei, I went to Sensei Duncan, and I said, Sensei, I want to do something really special for you, and so I called it A Day with the Masters, Tribute to a Living Legend.
Yeah.
And I did that, and I want to go back a little bit. Um, uh, that's not quite all, but that was one of them.
Okay.
The catalyst to it, and I got to give him his credit. I almost forgot this. Sijo Abdul Mutakabir.
Okay. Big up to see Joe. Yes.
Yeah, big up to Sijo. He
Brother.
called me one day. We were talking about some things, and he said, "You know, brother, I want you to do a seminar for me."
Mm.
And I said, "Man, I would love to do something with you." So, you know, I said, "But I want Soke Ali Kareem," and I used to spend a lot of time with Soke Hassan Khaleeq. And so I said, "Man, these brothers, they've been around each other forever. How befitting would it be to call it A Day with the Masters?" That's how that actually happened. And then right after A Day with the Masters came a tribute to a living legend. So that um, uh, really was something that I really enjoyed doing. And then a few years on, I ran it up till about maybe 2008 or 9,
Mm.
and then I pulled away from it. I did one A Day with the Masters with the late Kari Hideyuki Tagawa, may he
Mhm.
rest in peace,
Mhm.
uh, at the America's Ultimate Martial Arts Academy in here in Brooklyn.
Right.
It was a small venue, but we did it, and I think that was in 2013 or 14.
Right.
But there was some space that went through. I kept trying to revive it, but I didn't have um, a venue. I did it one more time. We did it. Grandmaster Derek Williams had mentioned we should do some things together, and
Right.
so we pulled. I think he was doing Faces of Buddha,
Yeah.
and so we pulled them together. Day with the Masters and Faces of Buddha, and we did it in Manhattan. I think in 2023.
Right.
And so now I'm back at the mosque, and you know
Yes.
I have to say some things about the mosque. That was the old um, Temple Number 7C. In
Seven.
fact, that building, yes, that building still has Malcolm X's name
Yep.
on the deed to that
Right.
building, and it's undergoing some changes right now. They're gonna be doing some renovations to the building, um, and putting assisted living to the side of the building, and so they're doing some
And they had the school. Remember the Clara Muhammad and the Elijah Muhammad school.
right. So on one side, well, Akbar Hall was a
Right.
different hall altogether,
Right.
and the Enlightenment Center, right, the
Right.
Honorable Elijah Muhammad Enlightenment Center,
And that-
and the Clara Muhammad School was on one side. So
yeah.
there, I think that side is going to still. They're knocking down the building and they're going to redo it, but I think it's going to be the mosque and the school there, and then on the other side is going to be the building for senior assisted living that's
Right.
coming. So
Because
right now,
that place is a
sorry.
landmark. It's a landmark.
It's absolutely a landmark. It's
Yeah.
absolutely a landmark. It's history,
It is.
right? And so I'm grateful to be there. In fact, Moses, you know, Dr. Moses Powell used to teach there as a
Yeah.
lieutenant. He taught right there in that place.
That's right.
You know, that block, Madison Avenue is just,
And
you know, a landmark where many of the Muslims
that's right.
were there, right? And we have great relations with the community there.
Right.
The church that's right across, I think it's a Baptist church that's right across,
Right.
and so we have great
Right.
camaraderie with them.
And the YMCA is not too far. And then,
It's
of course,
about a block and a half away.
yeah,
Is the YMCA.
and Taqwa, big up to Imam Siraj, of
Imam
course.
Siraj
Imam
Rahaj, yes,
Siraj, my brother all the time, and all the great ones over there. You know,
absolutely. Yes, sir.
you said earlier about respecting all of the martial arts. So, you know, I've talked to a few. You know, my father was a former Marine. My son was a former Marine, young and vibrant. I have a son that was also in the Army. How would the martial arts that just train basically in the dojo and just in the streets of America pan out towards the training of a Marine battle to battle on the streets, because they are there to survive anything. And they like my son said to me, man, we coming to come right through you. We ain't even thinking about all of the extra stuff. We just do what we got to do and keep it moving. What do you think about that? Because I know some of the dojos are not training as hard as the Marines are training, and especially the special forces. How you think that they would pan out with their training in martial arts, and how to just devastate a situation, keep it moving, and compare in comparison to people that are well trained in a dojo? How would that work out?
It's a loaded question,
I know
right?
it's a loaded question. I even said it to Master Mo too. I said it to Master Mo because again, they training every day, and they're trained to be in all types of environment. It's different.
It's a different mindset. So let me try to answer that question the best way I can.
Yeah.
My teacher, I can't speak for anybody else. My teacher was a Marine, former
Yes.
Marine, right? Sensei Duncan was a former Marine. He trained us with the mindset of survival.
Yes.
Okay. So my primary teacher, Soke Ali Kareem, my current teacher, Soke Jamie Ellaby, his father was a career military person as well, and we're students of war.
Yes.
So for myself, when I get into my training mode, I don't have a bunch of fancy stuff
Right.
on the mind.
Exactly.
If I'm going to get into combat, I mean, I boxed, right, as well. So you're talking about a one-on-one pugilistic system. If you're talking about mayhem, right, which is what most military personnel, you're talking about a controlled environment, a controlled mentality in a chaotic environment. Sorry.
Right.
That is what is called sen, right? That is your meeting of the minds without anyone. You see what I'm saying? Your training now kicks in, right? It becomes very surreal. So you see everything that's in real time. You can see it in slow motion because you're familiar with the punch or kick or whatever. But Marines, they're not there with hand-to-hand combat. They're going with weapons, right? And so if you're talking about fighting with the ancient, you know, ancient weapons, that's not gonna fare today, right? Because everybody's dealing with projectile weapons, right? And so this is the martial art of today. Unfortunately, are pistols, firearms, and so we were taught how to train with them, right? I have a legal concealed carry. I think I encourage everyone who is going to deal with firearms and things like that, know the law, right? Know the law of your land. Know whatever you're going to, wherever you are, wherever you live, know those laws. But I encourage you to be responsible. If you're a gun owner, be a responsible gun owner.
Yes.
And train with them, because it's important to know how to equalize the playing field. That's how I see it. Hand-to-hand combat, as you mentioned in the dojos, if you have to deal with somebody that comes from the military or whatever the case may be, just like anything, it's a job, right? The military has a job to do. Not everybody in the army or any of the other outfits know how to handle themselves fisticuffs beyond their boot training, boot camp, right? So you have those people who boots on the ground, they know what to do, and the people that are in the martial arts get out of the sport of martial arts.
That part, right there.
Right. You have to train the way that we were trained for the man whose mentality is to harm you for real. Right? Not after it's all over, we good brothers and we friends. No, man. If I gotta do what I have to do to take care of my family and to get home, that's important. Sensei Duncan gave me one of these phrases, and I'm going to share with you.
Right.
And I hope that I'm not offending anybody. But he said, tournaments are okay, they're good, but your tournament is the streets, and your trophy is to get home to your family.
Get home to your family. Yep.
So when you train with the right mentality. When you're facing an opponent, know your opponent, read the room, right? I once saw a video on, I think it was on YouTube. It was really sad. These guys were rather large Caucasian men, and they got into his altercation. This one guy was a bodybuilder, the other guy was an MMA fighter,
Mhm.
and they were in a parking lot. It seemed to be, I don't know, nighttime or whatever. And as they, engaged, the MMA guy took the bodybuilder and he tossed him and put him in an arm bar, and locked him up, and he was expecting for him to tap out. Well, the bodybuilder wasn't. He was in submission. He was in a lot of pain, but he dug right into his pant leg. He pulled out a knife and he unalived that guy.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so what I'm saying to everybody is make sure that you neutralize your opponent. This is what Sensei Duncan taught.
Yep.
This is how I still believe today, that if you have to get into an altercation, right, know the room, right? You don't have to hurt everybody. You can subdue your opponent, stop them, right, from whatever it is that you're engaged in. But if it becomes something that's terrible, and you're unable to do anything other than unaliving that person, I don't encourage that. But I say that you have to neutralize your opponent. So
That's right.
this is what the Marines teach, because they're dealing with war, right?
Mhm.
And that's on a larger scale,
Right.
right? What we're looking at today, with the climate in America, um, you're dealing with some diabolical people,
Yeah.
right? And the current administration, I think they're doing what they think they have to do, but I don't think it's all sagacious
Right.
in dealing with the people in the public. And so people in the public also should know their place. I
Right.
think that the martial arts is very important to be able to at least handle yourself. You don't want to fight with the law. You want to obey the law of the land.
Mhm.
But you don't want everybody to come to you. The martial arts can also help you de-escalate a problem, right?
Yeah.
Rather than to think berserker or think that you're going to beat everybody with your fists.
Right. Right. Right.
It's how you think.
The art of war is applied.
Art of war starts
Is
starts
applied.
with the mind. That's right.
Exactly.
Right.
Family, we only have a few more minutes with our brother Hanshi Khaleeq Lewis, man, our guest, because he's a busy man now, but
Yes,
he allotted some time for his brother here to come out, because we are brothers, and he's a good
that's
brother,
right.
man, that I've known for some years, and he's always been upright and straight. Sometimes we get into our little quick spats, but we family. But we
Well, hold on. Let me tell you what the spat is about. The spat is about him getting to class.
no, that's
Let's
bad.
be real. We don't fight about much, but we fight about that. That's the one thing that we always. But I want to say this, right.
Yes, sir.
Brother Simon has always been very consistent. He's a family man. He's a wonderful brother. Always deal with the holistic things in mind, and spiritual. Very, very spiritual brother. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you for bringing me on. I appreciate you for being not just a brother and a friend, but a great student at one time.
Yes,
I do encourage you to get back on the mat, my brother.
yes, yes,
And
brother.
I encourage all of your audience to continue to support this channel. Reach out to us. We are available to you, and hopefully whatever we can do to help facilitate your journey in the martial arts, if this is what you want to come, we're here.
That's right. And thank you. But last question I would like to ask before I do that, let me let everybody know what you got coming up on April the 4th. And you do it every year now, right? Or every
Yes,
6 months. Okay,
yes,
every year. All
yes.
right. So every year he does it, right? Probably around this time here. That's for more information, you could call or text 646-624-1897. That's 646-624-1897. Or you can actually email at makotokanmartialarts@gmail.com. Okay, so make sure you support and all these great brothers that you see up here. I mean, even Hanshi, Greg is going to be there. Woo!
Yes,
Let's go.
yes.
Woo! That's the son of.
Man,
That's
man,
the,
yeah. One of the main all of the men that you see on there are extraordinary, and he is
yes,
no less than extraordinary every time I'm in his presence. He's
man.
always a gentleman and a spectacular martial artist, friend, and like family to me. I think that
Yes,
Grandmaster Abdul Aziz, Soki Hassan.
Yes.
Um, um, we have one of the pioneers of ninjutsu, a great historian, Jimmy Noriega, who was
Mm.
also an early student of Grandmaster Duncan
Okay.
up there. We have Soke Jamie Ellaby, who is, I gotta say this before I go anywhere.
Good.
That man is history walking.
Yes.
Believe it or not, he just made history. He's the first and and highest ranking Daito Ryu Aiki Jiu-Jitsu practitioner in the world as a
Wow.
black man.
Wow. Is he doing
Uh,
interviews or no?
yeah, we can. Yeah,
Please
yeah,
connect us. I remember him. I think he came to the funeral, right? He was at the
yes,
funeral. Yes, right.
yes, sir. So,
I drove with you first the morning,
yes, that's
early in
right.
the morning, and then you
Yeah,
came back. You dropped, came
yeah.
back.
But yeah, that brother there has introduced us to reintroduced our life vein to Japan. He's
Right,
very well connected. Takase Sensei is his teacher, and I was able he was able to help me facilitate my documents and getting my black belt in Daitoryu Aikido Jiu-Jitsu,
right,
as well as Hakuryu Jiu-Jitsu, which is getting the parent art that Sensei Duncan also trained under
right,
Narakihara Sensei under. And
right.
so yeah, he's the highest ranking
Wow,
African American in the world today.
wow.
He made
Say,
history. Yeah,
say his name again for the people to hear him. Yes.
yeah. His name is Soke Jamie T. Ellaby. You
Yeah.
can look him up. He is the founder of the Nagano Ryu Heiho Kyokai. He's located in North Carolina. I believe that he's in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Greenboro. Okay.
You know, but yeah, he's an awesome brother. You
Okay.
also have Grandmaster Scott Guru Scott. Man, there's not enough that I can say about him. He's a great influencer
Right.
and a proponent and a practitioner of many arts, but a student of many. But Dennis Brown, the great Dennis Brown, as
Yes.
well as
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
you have of course Shidoshi Nathan Ingram,
Right.
who he has the number one. Kid you not, you guys can go look it up.
Oh yeah. Oh
The
yeah.
number one magazine
Yes, he does.
in the world
In the
today,
world right
in the
now.
world right now, right?
Right.
And that's the Deadly Art of Survival. And so we just did DOTCON 6,
Yeah. Yeah.
and when I tell you it was a spectacular time,
Beautiful.
I know we were on together, Brother Simon,
Yeah.
and you
We was on
interviewed
the
me.
show. It's online too. I
Yeah,
interviewed you when you came in.
yeah.
I knew he was about to go get in there and get it in. And he
Yeah,
said he's looking for a bigger venue next year, and
yeah,
that's where he's going with it. And I'll be right there to help out if Allah wills, inshallah. And I'll say mashallah, that's what Allah wills. And
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to be there. And last question I want to ask is definitely about protection for our women
Uh,
in the arts, and how important it is not only for women to train, but also people to respect the women in the arts, because I've heard complaints, you've heard over the years, you heard these ups and downs, and even though Master Duncan was very upset about those type of things
yeah,
himself.
yeah,
He talked to me personally on that stuff, and 'cause I asked him the question back then, because you raised with a mother and your auntie introduced you. I'm raised with a mother, single parent mother, and but my father was in and out. But the women, how important it is not only for them to train, but the protection of them in these spaces called the dojo or the boxing gym.
well, first of all, we're taught in Islam,
Right,
and not to negate any other faith,
right, right,
religion, but we're taught that men are the maintainers and the protectors of our women.
right,
And so that is in its entirety. And so making sure that you are able to handle your business, not just of course, your finances and all those other things, but not being fearful, right? The
right,
martial arts again helps you gain those things that are going to equip you in
right,
terms of your confidence in dealing with assailants and making sure that your women are protected. In the dojos, men, uh, we have desires and we have all of the things that any human being would want, but
right.
we don't approach our women disrespectfully, right? They're there to train, they're there to learn, You don't mistreat them. You don't bring their mistrust, because one of the things that you are doing in that dojo, right, or that training hall, is teaching people how to
Yeah,
trust themselves.
that's
So
right.
you're responsible. I'm responsible for what we give, and so we keep a sterile environment. Those things are not. Those other fraternizing, all that kind of stuff, we keep that out of the dojo. It's in our bylaws, and we
Right,
make sure that the women protect themselves, right? And we maintain and protect ourselves along with them, right? And we protect them. We protect the environment. We make sure that they move in pairs. We make sure that they get home, um, um, if they're coming out and they're out at night,
right.
that they get home safely, right? And usually we have someone who's an
Escort.
authority that they contact when they get home. If you're not with them, we make sure that if we can get them home by vehicle, Uber, whatever the case may be, that they're home. If they're married, the husbands come and they train with us, or they meet their husbands, and we know that we communicate with
Right.
everybody, right? So those are things that are very important. Making sure that you don't do anything that is going to harm the integrity, your
Mhm.
integrity, the integrity of the dojo, the
Right,
integrity of the community, and of course the integrity of that female that's
right.
there. I have a daughter, and I was raised by women, like you said, my aunties and my mom and my grandma. I would want no one to violate them. So you should never want anybody to violate your sister, your nieces, your nephews. I mean, or your nephews, right?
Anybody,
Or
definitely.
anybody for that matter, your
Exactly.
wife,
Nieces,
right?
nieces.
Yeah.
Right, right.
So we follow the tenets of Islam and righteous conduct in order to make sure that that's always in place.
My brother, thank you so much. Family, once again, the number is right here. Give him a call. Also, email him. Also, hit up the website. It's pinned to the top of the chat. And brother, thank you so much. Can't wait to be there amongst y'all, man, and get some great footage. And make sure the people know that you do it every year, and try to still get people to come on and support, and get into this world of martial arts. Back in the day, they used to train 6 hours, sometimes 12 hours.
Oh
It's
man, yes,
crazy.
sir.
I mean, doing a horse stance for 45 minutes to an hour was the regular, the
That was a
norm.
regular thing, right? I saw a meme. I saw a meme. It said, "You're complaining about horse stands. That means you need more horse stands." Right? You train with Grandmaster Bill. You're gonna be doing a consistent workout regularly, right? And so those are things that we're grateful for. We're grateful for those men that are still there and training and
That's right.
building our bodies and building our minds. Sophie Little John as well.
Yes. Oh
Those
my
those
God.
brothers, all of those guys, man. I look at Professor James Sims. He's another brother
Yes.
who I really respect so highly,
Yes.
because he's doing that thing down there in Delaware,
In
and
Delaware.
making sure that people are doing what they got to do. I go to Master Saba Nim's.
Dropping them right. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, David Herbert. When I go to his dojo, and I see the discipline and the cleanliness of his
Yes.
environment, the spirit of it is just something that's incredible. So that's what I look forward to help produce, and I pray that everybody who comes on gets wherever you go, you know, go to some place that is going to fit your spirit, right? And be with someone who you can respect, and make sure that you're with someone that has good character, because you take the character and spirit of that teacher.
Yes,
So,
sir. Thank you once again for coming up. Family, this is happening on April the 4th. Can't wait to be there, at my old stomping ground, Akbar Hall and Enlightenment Center. That's the old stomping ground that I produced some monumental events with Dick Gregory. I had him over there. A great
mhm,
event with Dick Gregory. Him and Queen of Four together was something
mm,
else. So that was, and she said that was his teacher. That was her teacher. Dick
mm,
Gregory was her teacher. So
yeah,
again, we're going to be over there on Bedford Avenue. If you haven't been to the historic mosque that Malcolm X have his name on that deed, and all the history is there. I even have a picture of Minister Farrakhan and Malcolm X at that place. So
yes, sir.
as a family, you want to be there and come and get some of the essence of that place called the Akbar Hall on 1174 Bedford Avenue in Brooklyn, New York, from 1 to 5 p.m. Advanced tickets right now is $100. At the door is $130. Spectators, if you're just coming to chill and just watch and film and just have fun and talk to the grandmasters, get their business cards or whatever, please, please, please come on out and be there early, because we're going to stay there till 5 p.m. It is a it is a masjid right there. So we want to
That's
make
right.
sure everything is clean. Make sure you keep things clean. The receptacles will be there. All of that. I think you're going to have food, right? You're going to have food
That's
there.
yeah. We're looking to have some food.
You need me to give you any information about anybody that can provide food? Let me know if you
Sure.
need it.
Yes. We can put it down. I think we have some people there that's covering it. But
Okay,
if
if you
if
need
you want to
anybody.
vend and things like that, maybe we'll may also
Right,
we'll
right, right.
invite that in. Yeah.
My brother, thank you so much. Let me give
Thank
you a
you.
well-deserved round of applause, of course. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Assalamu alaikum, and get your rest, Hanshi, and we will talk later on, definitely before the events, of course. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. God bless.
Appreciate you, man. All right. Take
Appreciate
care.
you.
That's right. My brother, man. Got to make sure we show him some respect. Beautiful brother, beautiful soul, beautiful spirit. He's been doing it for a while, and Master Duncan really loved and cared about him. So did Soke Ali, the late great Soke Ali Kareem. So big up to him, the late great one, who's also been very helpful to me and used to do. If y'all remember the brother with the red beard, he used to do security for my events all the time at St. Francis College, and of course, y'all seen him at the BLS events over there at Wingate Park. That he transitioned, but we still remember people like him, and we thank all of them. And that's what this event is all about: is keeping the legacy alive. Master Duncan, Grandmaster McEady, all of them great ones, Sensei, Lady Sensei, all of them that are part of the legacy of martial arts. All the women, Sister Professor Veronica, Professor Zahalia, all of them, all the sisters like Nina, Sensei Nina, and Sensei Jackie from Panama, who loved Professor Duncan back in the day. Big up to her. And all of the great ones that are doing the work. Sister Dr. Odette, the wife of Sijo Mutakabir. Big up to him who kept Swarm. I worked for Swarm and I worked for X-Men back in the day. So it's been a beautiful life that I've lived in the martial arts world. And these brothers have definitely helped me out to be better. So on April the 4th, that's what's happening. Get that number, his direct number. That's his direct number to the brother. And the Venmo and the Cash App QR code on the flyer is there and working. And then May, we're going to be with our dear brothers, Chief Professor Grandmaster Bill McLeod. We will be with him. We're going to be at his spot, and also Sabanin David's spot. We're going to definitely be at his spot. I'm definitely going to get an interview with him because I love his business acumen and how he conducts his business with Hapkido and all the rest of the arts that he's studied. And of course, they're going to have it. So make sure y'all go to studymartialarts.com. And then in June, we're going to support Professor Zahalia big time. Hit her up at Professor Zahalia7@gmail, or scan that QR code about hotel and all that kind of stuff, or give her a call at 562-888-3478. Remember, the next interview I have coming up or will be with this beautiful mother-daughter team. That's Daisy and Dolores Peters. They're making their debut on our platform for the first time, and the book that they have coming out is called that's already out. It's called "Did God Forget to Color Our Feet?" It's just the mind of a child and a mother coming together to produce a conversation that they had, and then all of a sudden it turned into a book. I'm so proud of them, and of course, family. After that, I just want to remind people that get all of my books on Amazon. You can go to Amazon, King Simon on Amazon, or go to my Linktree right there on the bottom, Linktree/King Simon, the Numerovator. That's a one-stop shop for my links and my products and all that kind of stuff. Also, if you want to get into my membership, if you want to listen to my first ever audio book, right there in my membership of King Simon Media, KSP Media, right here on YouTube, you can go to my membership and you'll get to listen to my audio book as I break down numerovation for mental stability. That's very important. And brothers and sisters, but really sisters. This one we're starting off with sisters. If you had mother issues or grandmother issues, or you're a daughter that you have daughter issues and all that, this is a good 12-week program for people that are serious about healing the mother's womb with their daughter or with their granddaughter or what have you. Because sometimes right now in this day and time, you notice that our grandmothers have become younger now. Our daughters are becoming younger. They're becoming pregnant at younger age. And so, they have daughters raising daughters and daughters raising daughters. So there's still a little healing that needs to be done. Not against that what's happening, because it happened back in the early ages, the early years, but some of the mother's womb healing course is going to be very important for these ladies starting on April the 4th, 4:44 a.m. in the morning, Central Time. So go to the website to find out more information about how to do the healing ceremony and the course. And it's mymothermymirror.com. That's mymothermymirror.com. Or you could text the word mirror to 615-812-6342. That's 615-812-6345. Support our sponsors and people that support this channel. And also, big up to Denise Muhammad, another supporter of the channel, 713-482-1624. Text the word change if you want to find out information about life, auto, business, insurance, homeowners insurance, how to avoid ID theft and legal protection, all of that, customized financial program and budgeting, Vivint, home security, credit repair. Let Denise help you. Very beautiful Leo sister. She does what she does and make it do what it do. So if you do want to advertise on my platform, it's only $100 per month, but you get to advertise on multiple platforms: Facebook, Threads, Instagram, and also YouTube at the same time. And I'll be shouting you out just like this. You get to hear your program. And if you do it for 3 months, I'll probably interview you to get you on my show, and let's talk, because a lot of the big wigs watch my show and then they call you and say, you know what, I seen your King Simon show. Boom, I'd like to have you on. That's very important. I love that when that happens, that organic thing. So also big up to Brother Rich, Radio Cigars. If you're into cigars, it comes from out of Honduras, some very special ancestral cigars that my brother have. Rich in Merit at Yahoo if you want to find out more information, and he could help you out. It's $30. So, but he sends you a package, a $30 donation, but he sends you a nice package of cigars to let you go through at least throughout the whole month. And Nicholas Brooklyn, we are going to be doing a great service to our beautiful sister that owns Nicholas, also her father who has retired, and also her brother that owns Nicholas Culturals over there at 1978 3rd Avenue. And of course, the one in Brooklyn is 1396 Fulton Street. So we're doing a major fundraiser. Even if you go to the website, nicholasbrooklyn.com, guess what? You can actually go to the GoFundMe on there. But we're doing a powerful community fundraiser experience in support of Nicholas Brooklyn's celebrating 52-year legacy. They got a 52-year legacy. Professor James Smalls is the one that initiated it. Then Black Dot said he confirmed. When I called him, Blue Pill, I called him. I called KT, he confirmed. Mama Ella confirmed. Now Ruby Sela said she would come out of retirement and perform some of them conscious lyrics that she used to drop. And there's going to be more people, of course, hosted by me, Mashari, Joshua Sarah, and there will be a sound bowl activation early. I might have Kafunya do it throughout the day, like every 3 hours, because we're going to be there from 12 to 9. So if you do it at 12 o'clock, then she do it at 3 o'clock, then she do it at 6 o'clock. That will be a good representation, walking around with a sound bowl, aligning you, getting back into your tones. You know, sometimes we have these toning forks, and these toning forks are good. This one is a biosonic tuning fork that I put around my ears when I get up and before I go to bed, so I can align myself. This is the C note tuning fork. Sister Kafunya gave me this one. Brother Steve gave me this one. So yeah, it's all about keeping yourself in alignment, because we all live in frequencies, man. We all live in mathematics. So once you understand that and understand that, man, it's a beautiful thing. And before I finish off this great thing, again, come on out to this beautiful fundraiser over there at Restoration Plaza at 1396 Fulton Street. $25 all day. Young people are free from 0 to 17. So bring your children out. Let them come and enjoy the performances, the live performances and all that, the workout that they're going to be doing and all that. Big up to my son, Prince Imagine, who's also have a great studio that you can do some great things, get your own audiobook done, because he did my audiobook, and you got to join my membership to hear my audiobook. And also shout out to Lloyd-Strayhorn.com, the veteran that used to be on BLS LIB with Gary Bird and a whole host of people. This man breaks down the astronumerology in fine tune, okay? And again, support Nicholas Brooklyn at all costs. Family, like Dr. B says, I forgive myself my family, and others for introspection, for imperfection, and I am grateful for my life. And like the one, the only Dr. Blair says, please, universal creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open up my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth and your love now. Family, have a great day, afternoon, or evening. Remember, I love you because I love me. And once again, want to thank our brother Hanshi Lewis for coming on. And don't forget, April the 4th, we will be there at A Day with the Masters. A hall of greatness and legacy continues. So take care, family. Be safe, be great, wherever you might be watching this, all 196,940,000 square miles of this planet Earth. Peace and love. I love you because I love me. Take care.